Welcome to the Landmark Theater's Q&A podcast. In this podcast, you will hear a discussion with star Michael Shannon from the film 99 Homes, moderated by Steve Weintraub from Collider, recorded at the Landmark West LA.
You think America 2010 gives a flying rat's ass about Carver or Nash? America doesn't bail out the losers. America was built by bailing out winners, by rigging a nation of the winners, for the winners, by the winners. You go to church, Nash? You go to church?
Sure.
Only 1 in 100's gonna get on that ark, son. And every other poor soul's gonna drown. I'm not gonna drown.
I've said this to you before when we talked about this film. I think you're absolutely electric in this role.
Oh, thank you.
Was this?
Thank you.
Was it? Yeah, the microphone. Was this one of these?
Thank you.
Was this one of these projects that I'm imagining you get offered a lot of scripts? Was it an immediate yes when you got this script?
Yeah, it's very well written, and I had wanted to work with Ramin for a long time. I met him at the Venice Film Festival, I think it was 2009, and I saw a short film he made called Plastic Bag, which I highly recommend. It's basically about a plastic bag trying to get back to its homeland, which is the giant island of plastic that's floating around in the ocean. This is a real thing. So, and Werner Herzog was the voice of the plastic bag. So I thought it was one of my favorite movies of all time. So I wanted to work with him since then.
One of the things about this movie, there's some great lines like America doesn't bail out losers, only one is going on the ark. You get to deliver such, I mean, you guys just watched the movie so you know what I'm talking about. Like we can actually get specific. When you got the script and you see lines like that, were you just, chomping at the bit to deliver this stuff? How much changed on set?
Not much. I mean, it's pretty much what you hear is what Ramin wrote. Every once in a while, he would ask me to augment things, but I didn't really want to. I didn't feel the need to, but if he asked me to do it, I would do it. Yeah.
I think a lot of people aren't going to realize that there were non-professional actors in this movie. That's something that he likes to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, historically, his first 3 films were mostly non-professional actors. But yeah, there was a real palpable sense of authenticity. I mean, he wanted it to be authentic. And the sheriff I have with me on the evictions is an actual sheriff, and my clean-out crew is an actual clean-out crew. And yeah, I think he felt that he owed it to the people that this movie is basically representing, the people that don't get the chance to tell their stories, the people that are actually in Dennis's position. He owed it to them to make it as authentic as possible. Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about memorable moments from filming. Is there a day or two that you'll always remember?
Wow. Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean, shooting the first scene was very, very intense because that's a oneer. We did it in one shot basically, and we did 17 takes of that, and I was very nervous about it because I understood why Ramin wanted to do that, but it just puts a lot of stress on me anyway. I don't know if every actor would feel that, but I just wanted it to be perfect. So when there's nothing to cut away to, you feel a huge burden to get it exactly right. So, and then of course doing the eviction of Andrew's character was an epic thing, you know. We spent a couple of days on that, and it was very, you know, emotional. But I mean, every day on this was quite a gauntlet, to speak. You know.
I've said this to you before, and I'll say it in front of everyone here. I think your work as an actor is really effing good.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's just really effing good. I'm curious how your process has changed over the course of your career, or is there a special, like, if you could just sort of talk about the way you like to prepare for a role, and has it changed at all through your career?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's hard to put into words. It's funny you bring that up, because I'm just starting a new job. I just started today on a film called Nocturnal Animals that I'm making with Tom Ford, and we had a rehearsal, and yeah, I'm at that place where I don't really know what it's going to be. And before I came over here, I was looking at my script, and there's no words for it, really. I look at the script, I run the scenes, and I just think about it. I think I draw from my subconscious a lot, you know, and references that across the board from either my own personal experience or other movies I've seen, or, you know, other art that influences me. Music influences me a lot, you know. There's no, I mean, I know there's a lot of, like, systems of acting and schools of acting, and I've never really identified with any of them. None of them seem to work in every situation, so it's kind of mysterious even to me.
I've seen a lot of people, a lot of actors work on set. Someone who comes to mind is Woody Harrelson, who likes to change everything on every take. Are you someone that likes to mix it up a little bit on every take, or do you sort of, do you know what I mean? Like,
well, not unnecessarily. I mean, not just for the sake of doing something different. I mean, I feel like ideally for me, all I'm doing is communicating the vision of the director, the writer, you know, and I want them to be happy. I mean, in something like this, Ramin is the one who really did the work, the lion's share of the work. You know, he went down there, he researched this for months and months, and he did countless interviews, spent days and days going around meeting people, hearing stories, and compiling all of this into his script. And I feel like it's my job, my obligation to help him realize that vision, you know. I'm not necessarily interested in doing something fancy just to show off, you know. I don't really care.
I know you like to collaborate with Jeff Nichols a lot.
I do.
Big Shelter is one of my favorite films.
Thank you.
Do you have any upcoming projects with him that you're working on currently?
Well, we have this movie called Midnight Special that's going to come out, you know, 20 years from now or whenever. I think it'll come out in March or April. And then it's funny you bring that up, because I was just down in Virginia. He's making a movie down there called Loving, and I didn't want to break my string. I've been in all his films, so I went down there, but it was just for one day because I'm pretty busy right now. So, but it's a beautiful story. I don't know if you know about it. It's the Lovings were a couple, interracial couple, and they set a precedent for interracial marriage in the courts. Yeah.
Your character is pretty detached. What was it like for you to go home with having done that? Could you easily detach from the coldness that your character has?
I don't know how to answer this question. I think your perception of the character is faulty.
I have so many comments here, and I'm not gonna. For me though, your character in the film is trying to sort of, the situation's fucked, and he's trying to take the bull by the horns and turn it where it will help him, and and that's just what I'm taking away from it. And I don't, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. To answer your question, at the end of the day, I was very tired, and I just wanted to have dinner and go to sleep. That's how I usually felt. But I mean, I think the opening image shot of Rick staring at the fella on the toilet, I mean, it's a little awkward to talk about since it's my face, but he doesn't strike me as somebody who's detached from what he's doing. I think he's very fucked up by what he's doing.
As a former homeowner that lost my home to wrongful foreclosure, this really touches the hearts of people.
Yeah.
I'm an activist working against foreclosures. We represent thousands of homeowners throughout the United States, but we're here based on California, in LA, occupied fights foreclosures.
Yeah.
And it is so big, it's so realistic. Some of these evictions,
Yeah.
as I have witnessed them,
Right.
I tell you, this is gonna send a tremendous message, not only to people that have lost their homes, but people that are pissed off at the system.
Exactly.
And I thank you for a job well done.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, I think that goes back to something I was saying earlier about how important it was to Ramin to make an accurate depiction of what's happening, and he devoted a lot of time and energy to that, and I think mostly out of compassion. I think he's a very compassionate filmmaker. All his films are like that.
This film is a very powerful exposure of the system. Do you feel artists and actors have a responsibility to speak to them the questions, not just in their work, as important as that is, but in society?
Well, I would never discourage anybody from doing that. I mean, if you have any sort of platform, or if anybody cares about what you say or think, then yeah, you should be helping to defend people, I mean, I don't, I'm not exactly sure, regardless of how many movies somebody's in, how much power they're going to have to change, the policies or whatever. I mean, I don't think if I went up to a bunch of cops and said, hey, man, stop doing that they would stop, even if they're like, oh, you were in Kangaroo Jack. I don't think that would happen.
You really should. You really should have said I was in Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Well, if I say I was in World Trade Center, maybe. Yeah.
It's one thing that the words are there, but sometimes just your lack of irony. I totally believe in some way it was just almost like a survivalist thing, even more than greed.
Yeah, well, something that Ramin likes to remind people of is that Rick was a real estate broker. Like, he didn't say, oh, I want to go evict people from their houses. This sounds amazing. He was like, no, I want to sell real estate. So he was a real estate broker, and he was selling real estate. And then this happened. This crisis happened. And the people he was in business with were saying, well, now you have to go do this. And he's like, I don't want to do that. And they're like, well, you have to. If you don't, we're not going to do business with you anymore. So it was just like, you know, I mean, the house that's full of, you know, sewage in the movie is symbolic of the whole situation. Somebody has to deal with a very unpleasant situation, and nobody in their right mind would want to. I mean, it's like Rick says in the movie, who wouldn't rather put somebody in a house and take them out of it? I mean, I don't care what your psychology is, unless you're completely batshit psychotic, which I don't think Rick is, so, you know. But, so it's something that happens gradually. And, you know, any of us in this theater, you get put in a certain situation, you get, you know, we all have our comfort zone, and then we all can get pushed out of that and put in a situation where you don't just get what you expect. You get something that knocks you on your ass, and you got to figure out how you're going to react to it.
I wanted to break into that soft side, and that was when you're standing in front of your three princesses and the butterfly. You
Oh,
say,
the butterfly.
yeah. Does it fly?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
did that motion.
Yeah.
I just love that. How did that get in there?
Yeah, that was a little bit of improv too. I mean, yeah, those girls had been, you know, hanging out all morning, and I think they had been just playing around with stuff, killing time, and they had made that butterfly. And you know, it's so funny because Ramin's like, this scene in your house is very short, and I want it to be very short because I want people to know that you're really not attached to your family at all. And yet, in this very brief scene, we have like this sweet little moment with the butterfly. But I mean, he kept it in. So, but for me, I really like that moment because I have 2 daughters myself. So that's easy for me, you know, playing with the girls. Yeah.
On that note, I really mean this. The movie is so good, and I encourage everyone, if you enjoyed the film, maybe use social, Facebook, Twitter, this Instagram thing. You know, get out there and actually say, go see this movie. But I think we should round of applause for Mr. Shannon.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on the first night. It's very nice. Thank you.
Do better than that.
Let's get cooking.
What? Sheriffs are here. Why are they here?
My name's Rick Carver. I'm a licensed real estate broker. This home has been foreclosed on.
No, this is not happening.
I need you, your mom, and your son to step off the property.
This is not your home.
Mr. Carver, please don't.
Sir, you have 2 minutes. Pack whatever belongings you need.
Oh my God. Does he have to stand there while she packs up? Is that right?
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Do you plan on staying for a while?
Just a couple nights.
You gotta get out of here. I'm gonna figure it out. I got no choice.
You kicked me out yesterday.
I didn't kick you out. The bank did. Did you do construction? I'll pay $50 cash.
Are you kidding me?
$50 shouldn't be a joke to you, son.
What are you doing with him? I gotta work, you know? So I want my home back.
Don't get emotional about real estate.
That's my family home.
If you want it, I need to know that I have someone who can handle any situation 24/7.
Are you putting notices on my window?
When you work for me, you're mine.
This is serious money.
Do you want to double what you made?
Are we stealing? Is this stealing? Feels a bit like trouble.
What'd you think it was going to mean working for me?
Mr. Tanner, hate to say it, your eviction is scheduled for the day.
You kick people out of their houses?
So I can put a roof over your head and I can put food in his mouth. Is this all worth it?
Don't be soft. You think America gives a flying rat's ass about you or me? America doesn't bail out the losers.
You kicked me and my family out of our home? I don't know you! I know you!
America was built by bailing out winners, by rigging a nation of the winners, for the winners, by the winners. Only 1 in 100's gonna get on that ark, son. Every other poor soul's gonna drown.